Hi everyone, we are live on YouTube and I decided to go live in the Facebook group as well because YouTube will limit our attendance to 25 people that are not, so all the subscribers can join in live, but if you're not subscribed, it's only 25 people that they're limiting us to, and there may be more than 25 of you that are interested in this. So we are live in the Pharmacists for Ireland Facebook group as well. So as you can see, I have my guest here that will answer all your questions. His name is Bilal. He's from Pakistan and he has just gone through the TCQR process and is in the adaptation period stage. So hi Bilal, thank you for accepting this invitation.
Hello, sir. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay, so it's actually the other way around. So I should thank you for your availability because you actually had the idea to help in any way that you could. So then I said, can I interview you so it will be useful for other people. So you guys, you see, this is the community we have, the pharmacist community. Um, Everyone is eager to help. Everyone will answer your questions because they had their questions answered before and they've received help. And we just pass on from one another whatever we can to be helpful to the other person. So okay, let's jump straight into it. So Bilal, if you want to just walk us a minute or two through the first steps when you first decided that you were going to go through the TCQR process. What did you need to do? Who did you email, or how did the first steps go?
Yeah, when I decided to go for the registration with the Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland, I checked their website straight away. And after visiting the website, I get an email address, which is the info@psi.ie. And I did an email to them. And I received the response same day from them. In the response, they told me that I have to apply by hard copy or by email, and a form was there. Form was mentioned with that email, and the whole process, they send the link of the website all for all the 4 stages which I have to go through. I studied the stages of all the 4 stages of the TCQR process one by one, and the first stage was the documentation. So that was the prerequisite to move on. I studied about that many times. You can see I studied for that about 2 weeks. I took my time, so I do not make any mistake and move forward. And after that, I compiled my all the documents from my university, including the transcripts, including the experience certificates, the internship certificates, and the syllabus of the university, and the form which the PSI sent to me. And after compiling all the documents and getting notified from the solicitor, I email all the documents to the respective email address of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland. And in few weeks, I received a response from the Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland. And after the response, they asked me to send few more documents from the concerned university in sealed envelope. That was missing. There is the option either to have to send the documents in sealed envelope, or send by using the official email address of the concerned department of the university from where you have obtained your degree. So I requested my university to send those documents in sealed envelope, and the department said the requested the documents to the Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland. Also, some documents was required from the Pharmacy Council of my country, and I requested them, and they sent those documents on my behalf to the Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland. It was the process of almost 3 months of the documentation. And after 3 months, I received the response that my stage first, which is documentation, successfully completed. And now I can proceed to the stage two, which is the equivalence examination. And they send me a form which I have to send back if I want to sit the next examination. The exam was in November, so I have to send back that form immediately because there are limited number of seats available for the examination. I think there was only 30 to 35 candidates when I was taking the examination. So you have to be very much aware of it if you want to sit in the next examination. After receiving the confirmation of documentation, send the form as early as possible. After sending that form to the Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland, I received the response 2.5 months before the examination that my exam will be in November 2022. So there was much time to prepare, but we should prepare before that time. So 2.5 months was there for me to study more. So I did study wholeheartedly and sit in my examination. And Alhamdulillah, I was successful in that examination.
And the examinations was online, was it?
Yeah, that was online virtually for the first time.
And was that easy to access? Did you have any problem accessing the online, or do you just go to a website, or how is that done?
Yeah, exam was with the University College of Cork, and they was really sportive. They started sending me an emails 1 week before the examination if I have any problem of connectivity, or if I am not aware about the Canvas or using the Zoom. There was complete training available, and they were answering about every question if I ask. Even there was some questions about calculations. So when I asked about that how we have to type the calculations, so they respond to me that we do not need to type the calculations, we can only write the answer in a simple way.
Okay, so they were very supportive, so it's very easy to actually do that. So all the
Yeah,
exams were online. You didn't have to travel to Ireland at all.
yeah, exam was online based on 2 days.
Okay, perfect. Now we have one of the questions that we have gathered from the WhatsApp groups, and it says, "What resources and books did you find most helpful?"
Yeah, if you go through the website of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland and check the syllabus over there, they had mentioned the syllabus completely, and along the syllabus they also have given the list of the reference books to study. So I will suggest everyone to go from that list and select the books which suits you best. For example, if you ask about me, I choose the books about the calculations, which was from the pharmaceutical press, as the pharmaceutical calculations from pharmaceutical press, and objective structure clinical examination book, which was also published by the pharmaceutical press. I selected these two books and I started preparing from these. And then I realized that I have to study more. I choose pharmacology from Lippincott, and after that I studied the pharmaceutics, and any book for pharmaceutics you can study. There are 80 questions. 40 out of them are from pharmacology, but pharmacology is clinical based. You have to relate every question clinically. They ask practical based questions. So do you have to read out everything, but you have to memorize the main points. There are 20 questions from the pharmaceutical calculations. You can follow the book of pharmaceutical calculation, which is mentioned in the list of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland books. Out of them are for, there are 80 total questions. 40 are from pharmacology, 20 from the pharmaceutical calculations, and 20 are the basic science questions.
Perfect. Yeah, I was just going through the Facebook groups because we're getting some questions, but I thought the software was screwing things up and showing this, but this is one of the questions that I got from from the Facebook group, but that's actually the comment. So it's either one of the children that got the phone, or that's not a real question. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
there should be no disturbance while you are in the examination, because your camera will be on for all the time. Even if there is a break, your cam will be open. You cannot close your cam. If you have to do the break, like you have to go for the washroom, then you can only ask that I have to do a break. You can go, but the question on the screen you have to attempt. You cannot repeat the previous questions. Once a question is on the screen, you have to attempt. If you left behind unchecked, it will not appear again.
Okay, that's very important to know.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
perfect.
the
And
person who are thinking that we can use the mobile or we can go to washroom and check the answer and come back and answer, there is the limited number of there is a 80 question but limited time.
yeah, yeah, makes
So
sense.
you
Like they
have
would.
to manage the time. You have to attempt 20 calculations questions.
Yeah.
So I was unable to complete the 80 questions. I was end up with my time when it was around 78 questions.
Okay, so you actually didn't finish all the questions.
Yeah, I didn't finish.
Oh, okay. So two questions were unanswered. All right. The next question says, "What is the passing criteria for the qualifying exam?" And it goes on to say, "Is there any criteria that decides if that pharmacist will do 1 year or 6 months of adaptation period?"
As you know, it depends. They evaluate the statistically. They evaluate the performance in the written MCQ type based questions, and they evaluate the performance in the OSCE examination. In both days, they will evaluate you, and then your practical experience and continuous professional development certifications and the presentation which you give in your CV. They will evaluate everything, and they will evaluate the syllabus of your degree which is issued by the university also. Everything collectively they will evaluate statistically, and on that basis they will allocate you the adaptation period.
And I want to add here that I know they evaluate. So if they had another pharmacist or a few pharmacists from that country and from that university especially, that have registered with the PSI in the past and have done well, have not have had any problems in their career, um, they will regard that university as highly respected. So when you come from that university as well and you go through the process, you will most likely get 6 months. If you do well on your results as well, on your exams, you will get a lower adaptation period. Whereas if you come from from a university where they had previous pharmacists and they didn't do so well, and that university is not so highly regarded, then that might tip the balance towards you having a longer adaptation period. So that is one of the factors. But if you have enough experience, practical experience, if you have a good CV, if you have good results on your OSCE and all that, you still might get the lower one. But yeah, I just wanted to say that that's a factor that they take in consideration as well. Muhammad Kamal is asking us, how many exam can we write once a year? You said one is in November. Could you please tell when is the second exam?
There are two exams in 1 year. But a student who in the TCQR process can only sit in one examination in its whole process. If he want to sit again with an examination, he has to apply again. So he has to apply again and pay a fees again, and then he can sit. So
Okay, I just had.
there in 2022, one exam was in April and second was in November.
Okay, perfect. All right, I just had to put the laptop to charge because I forgot to charge it. Okay, and Zahara Ali Bukhari is asking us, and what type of calculations will come? Kindly elaborate. So, can you
Uh,
give an example of the calculations?
Yeah, calculations was there were many questions. One question I remember was about to calculate the price of the tablets. They told us the price of a single tablet and have to calculate the dose. I think the dose was about for 2 weeks and have to calculate the price. It was much easier question. and one question was about the creatinine clearance. They
Okay.
use the different units. So the main point in the calculation is about the units. You have to know about the conversions. If you know the conversions, then you can do that calculation questions very easily. They give the formula with the questions.
Okay, perfect. Um, well, there are no more questions here now. So you guys watching, you can still comment under the video on YouTube or in the Facebook group, and then if like leave your questions there, and we will probably do this again. We can do it every now and then if enough questions gathered up. We can go live every now and then and answer them. Um,
Yeah, we can.
yeah, so I don't see any more questions coming in. Is there any other information that you think might be useful to pharmacists going through the process? That
uh,
any tip, any advice?
yeah, one question I check in the WhatsApp group was the how long does the TCQR process takes. So I want to tell you that the process is almost depends upon you. If you apply now and sit in the examination in this year, it's not possible. As you have known that if you send all the documents by now, they require 3 months to evaluate the documents, and after 3 months they will send you the form for the examination, which you have to fill and send back. And before 2.5 months of the examination they will inform you. So if you apply by now, most probably you will be eligible to sit in the examination in April May next year. So you can consider that 1 year required for the stage 1 and 2. Then for stage 3, it depends upon your allocated adaptation period. If it's 6 months, it's very good. If it's a longer, it depends upon the result of you. But they give the time. They will give you your adaptation period time plus 3 years to complete that adaptation successfully.
Okay, so
After that you can sit in the stage 4 examination and can get examination done, and then IELTS is required, and then the final registration certificate if you get through the all the stages successfully.
perfect. I have one more question. Did you have to pay the 1,500 euro fee at the beginning of the process?
Yeah, everyone has to pay the fee at the beginning of the process.
At the beginning of the process. Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Now,
that fee is for the whole process.
yeah. So we have one question from John Bosco. Says the adaptation period must be in Ireland, and I can actually answer that because yeah, you are adapting to the Irish system. So yes, definitely has to be in Ireland. That's why it's an adaptation period, because pharmacy in Ireland is different than even other European countries. So even European pharmacists, when they come here, they struggle to adapt because it's totally different. It's like landing in a different world. It's done in a different way. So everyone needs an adaptation period. Wherever you come from, even if it's not called an adaptation period, even European pharmacists that come here do not work on their own straight away. They are um, put to work alongside an Irish pharmacist for a month or 2 or 3, how much time they need. So they have to learn the Irish way of doing things, because I'm from Romania, which is a European country, but when I landed here, it was like landing on the moon, because everything is done different. Everything is done different. I didn't dispense methadone in Romania. In Romania, you stay in the front of the shop, like you have a computer there, and the pharmacist stands in the front of the shop and deals with the customers. Whereas here, you're in the dispensary, you're organizing stuff differently, you're bagging them differently, you're labeling them differently, and you have to know all the rules. And you have SOPs, so standard operating procedures for everything. For the way you need to gather the medication off the shelf, you have like pilots that fly airplanes. they have standard operating procedures for everything. Pharmacists here as well have standard operating procedures for everything. So if a mistake happens, they look into if you respected the SOP, and did you do the collecting of the medication properly? Did you do the checking properly? Did you do the labeling properly? So you have to get used to doing things right, the right way, the SOP way. So definitely, yeah, everyone needs an adaptation period, and it has to be in Ireland.
I want to add few things
Yeah.
yeah, regarding the study material. I told you that pharmaceutical calculations, pharmacology, you have to study. Beside this, you have to study the legislations also. There are 5 to 6 questions based upon the legislations used in the pharmacies in the Irelands. A few questions I also received which were about the how much pack of the paracetamol you can dispense, or the emergency medication if a patient is there, how much you can dispense. So there was the questions in the OSCE and MCQs also. So legislations you have to study also, pharmacology, pharmaceutical calculations. These are the basics, and for the basic sciences questions, they are very basics. Like I received a question, there was a picture shown, and I have to tell that was that the mite or the mosquito or a fly bee. So the basic science were very basics.
Yeah, because one of the questions we have is the exam tough? Did you consider it tough?
Uh, I think exam wasn't tough. If you prepare well, the exam wasn't tough. Only you will feel tough if you did not prepare well. The objective structured clinical examination is on all based upon the practice. If you do practice, you can perform well, and if you do perform in OSCE well, then your result will be the very good.
Perfect. Now, Mohammed says, while applying for second exam attempt, shall send document again or just application form to reserve a place?
I will answer about this, that you should write to the PSI at the given email address. They will inform you straight away.
Okay, perfect. Right. Do you know anything about the visa for the training period yet?
Yeah, I can. I think you can answer better.
So the thing is, visa wise, it will be resolved between the employer and the government. So I'm in the process of finding an adaptation, a pharmacy for his adaptation period right now, probably at the beginning of next week. And the employer has to contact the Irish state and just do back and forth a lot of things, because that's what they want to change in 2024. They want to give visa for the adaptation period under the critical work skill permit thing. So right now, when you do your adaptation period, it's not seen as critical skill. It's only when you actually become a recognized pharmacist in Ireland that you are. It's recognized as a critical skill. They want to change that. So visa in 2024, if you're starting the process now, by the time you do your OSCE and everything, the visa will be way easier to obtain than it is in 2023. So right now, the employer has to contact the bodies of the governments that they're being passed from one to another, and in the end it does get resolved, but it's a bit of a lengthier process. So we when we will know a certain, like, I have a friend that owns a few pharmacies, and he has multiple non-European pharmacists working for him at the moment, training and doing their adaptation period and stuff. And when I get a chance, I will ask him more about the visa. I know he's always on the phone with the PSI. He's always on the phone with the bodies of the government. So I'll try to get more details off of him, and we'll probably talk about the visa thing in another video. Is the total cost for the license just the 1,500? So the 1,500 euro, is that the total cost for the process?
Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah, so that is the total cost. That is just the 1,500 euro, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So the
exam will be online. You would not have to travel.
okay, perfect. We have a question saying, was OSCE online as well? And yes, it was. Yeah. So every exam that you ever had to do in the process was online. Is that correct?
Yes, exam online. All the exam running over 2 days. In first day you have to sit in the examination, including the MCQs. Firstly, you will do the MCQs, and after the MCQs, there are two written OSCEs.
Perfect.
7 minutes each for each OSCE. So 14 minutes in total to write down both of OSCEs.
Perfect. Okay. So it says once adaptation period is allotted, can someone bring family with him or her? Not, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe you can, because you will once you the adaptation period. uh, Oh, you want to in your adaptation period? Is that what you mean? I think, like, I'm almost sure you can bring them after the adaptation period is over, because you will be on the critical skill. But if you get a working visa, you might. So this is one of the questions that we will answer in a later video as soon as I get details about them. Um, if I'm not sure, I don't want to give you advice that is not, you know, true. So I'll wait until I have something certain about that. Okay, what's your advice to student graduated in 2025 and apply in 2026 for registration about jobs?
I
Uh,
will advise firstly to complete your degree,
yeah, yeah.
then you can decide better.
Muhammad, you asked me this in private, and I told you that nobody can foresee the future. So, um, there will always be jobs, but it depends. Like, if 200 pharmacists come next year, then you know there's not going to be a lot of jobs left. There will be jobs all the time, but there will be fewer jobs. So, uh, complete your degree, and then ask when the time is closer. um okay, so what is the salary at training? So you can do your adaptation period working as a front of shop staff, with where all the OTC products are, and the cosmetic products and all that. And then you would be working on minimum wage, probably around 12, maybe 13 euro per hour. Or you can work as a technician in the dispensary, and then it would be 14 euro and above. Some give 15, 16, depending on how bad they want you. So if you have a lot of experience, if you have a good CV, if you're doing your job properly and hardworking and all that, they might give you 15, 16, but it's 14 and above. Okay. All right. Graduate training for 6 months. If not, okay. Okay, let's see if we can understand this question. Does Bilal pre-graduate training for 6 months? If not, was any way to come over that? Most of countries less than 6 months required.
Yeah, there's a minimum training is 6 months and maximum is 3 years. It is mentioned in the Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland's website.
Perfect. Now I do want to.
I had listened from one pharmacist. He told me that if you get 70% of aggregate, I don't know what they call the aggregate, but I think it will be in the MCQs, written OSCE, and the verbal OSCE, a cumulative aggregate 70%, then there will be no adaptation.
There's a completion here. It says for documents completion. I mean, so the question was for documents completion. Yeah, hopefully we've answered that. Now, what I do want to say is at the end of the 6 months adaptation period, so just before you register as a pharmacist in Ireland, you will be required to pass an English exam.
At the end of the adaptation period, everyone has to sit the professional registration examination. The Irish pharmacists also sit in that professional registration examination.
Yes, but did they mention the English exam?
English exam is required after the professional registration examination successful completion.
Perfect. So that's one important step because I work with a lot of pharmacists that want to come here, right? I would say 80% of them, if not 90% of them, fail their first English exam attempt because it's very, very hard to work to get the academic English level that they require. So um, when it comes, even before that, while you're training and doing all these the process, work with professionals that know how to train you for an English exam, because if you don't, you will fail the exam by very little. Everyone that fails doesn't fail by a lot. You will fail by very little. I see a lot of non-European pharmacists, they put the emphasis on the OSCE and on the adaptation period and on all that, but there is one major step, one major impediment in your way to success, and it's the English exam. So all through this process, if it takes a year, if it takes more, work on your English and work hard on your English and work on academic English. It's not everyday English that is required. You may have good English for everyday conversation, but when you sit an academic English level, you will be they will take points away from you for every little mistake. And not even for every mistake, for not using a variety of sentences, for using the same word twice. They take points away from you. So do prepare for that exam, because you will go through this process and it will be lengthy and hard, and you will say, "Oof, I'm finally finished with it," and then you hit yourself against the wall that's called the English exam. So I just wanted to emphasize that as well. Please uh, work on your English starting at this moment, and make sure you learn academic English, because a lot of pharmacists think, "Oh, I'll just travel to Ireland, work as a technician for a while, and I'll learn English." And no, you won't. Trust me. I've seen it. Tens of pharmacists doing it, and none of them learned English just by none of them learned academic English just by coming to Ireland. You will speak conversational English with the Irish, but you will not progress in your academic English level. So the level of English that is required is very, very high. So I just wanted to make sure you know about that as well, and that you can use this 1 year, because it will take time. You can't improve your English in a month. So use this time to actually improve your English. Okay, we have a longer question here. Can you please inform, was any pharmacists from Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco who were accepted to further steps, because I was applied twice and they Okay, so this question from Zizou says, could you please inform us if there was any pharmacists from Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco who were accepted for further steps, because I applied twice and they have refused my application. This is one of the things they are going to change in 2024. So if you're a pharmacist, it doesn't really matter if you studied 4 years, 5 years, or whatever years. They will let you go through the process. So if you're in the Facebook group, Zizu, you will see this. If you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, I will post as soon as they change it. So when they change it, you can apply, and you can you will be able to go through the whole process. This is one of the things that the PSI is going to change in 2024. So yeah, you might not be eligible at the moment, but you will be next year. We still need to do 4-year degree plus 1 year training is required instead of 6 months training. Okay, let's see. Joey says, I think what Muhammad meant was we still need to do 4 year bachelor plus 1 year training is required, right? Instead of 6 months training.
I think he's asking about the degree, the bachelor degree
Yeah,
requirement. So there are two requirements for the bachelor degree: the 4.5 years and 6 months training, or 4 years plus 1 year training. Both are accepted currently.
perfect. And like, even if you don't have one of those, by next year things will change and you will be able to apply for registration.
Yeah. If you
Okay.
apply now, then you have to submit your bachelor degree along with the proof of your 6 months or 1 year training. So you have to give your internship certifications along with your profession examination degree also.
Okay, perfect. Great. We actually went through more questions than we said we would. uh, yeah, people were eager to ask. Okay, Grant, I don't see any more questions. Um, like I said, Bilal has said he's willing to do this every now and then, so we can jump in for half an hour every once in a while. Um, if we see questions gathering up in the WhatsApp group or in the Facebook group, I will gather them all together in a document and I will address them to Bilal every now and then, every few weeks maybe, and we will try to offer you as much information as we can. Um, once he starts his job and adaptation period and visa, we'll have more information about that step as well. So we'll definitely come back. Um, uh, Kudzai is asking, how did you find adaptation and visa? He's at the step where I'm finding the adaptation, the pharmacy where he's doing the adaptation period for. So next week, I hope to have a pharmacy for him to do his adaptation period. And as far as visa goes, we didn't sort that out yet. But once you have an employer, that employer has to submit some documents to the bodies of the government here in Ireland, and they ping pong back and forth for a while, and then eventually they allow you to come into the country. Could the training period required be issued by a community pharmacy? What would that be enough for them? Let's see if we can answer this one. Could the training period required be issued by a community pharmacy? What would that be enough for them? So the way it goes is the PSI tells you after your exams and everything, tells you if you need a 6 months period, adaptation period, or a year, or maybe more. And then you have to find a pharmacy that is willing to take you in. Now that's where my company comes in. I have a recruitment company, so I have a lot of friends in that own pharmacies, and then I basically, I'm the middleman. I find a job. I find a pharmacy that is willing to take you in for your adaptation period.
Yeah,
Um,
as nowadays I am looking for the adaptation, I met with many pharmacists working in the Ireland who own the pharmacies, but they do not meet the criteria. The PSI has set a criteria that the supervising pharmacist must be a tutor,
yeah, so the
and he
supervising
should
pharmacist
be
has.
on the tutor list, but mostly the pharmacists who are supervising the pharmacies are not on the tutor list. I had given interview to some of the pharmacists who are willing to take, but they are not on the tutor list. So I think the pharmacists in the Ireland are not much familiar with the TCQR process also.
So the supervising pharmacist in the pharmacy has to actually go do some training for himself regarding
Yeah,
the so that he can become a recognized tutor. So
yeah, perfectly.
not any pharmacist in Ireland can just say, yeah, I'll take him on and train him. That pharmacist has to actually do some training, so he has to attend training for that, which takes, time, energy, and money on his behalf. So yeah, it's not that easy to find a pharmacy that would take you in the in their tutorship. But that being said, it's not impossible. So, um, yeah, perfect. Let's see. Can you choose the pharmacy? Okay, this question is easy. Can you choose the pharmacy for adaptation yourself?
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
You can, yeah, but they have to want you, and like I said, the supervising pharmacist has to be a recognized tutor. So, but you can
Yeah,
choose. Yeah, if you
the
have more than
Pharmaceutical
one.
Society of Ireland will give you the list of the pharmacies which I received with with the result of mine. They send me a list. In the list, there are 2,000 pharmacies, so I can choose.
Yeah, you can choose, but there are other criteria as well. So, okay, let's see. Regarding the training, it obligatory to should be in community pharmacy or hospital pharmacy?
It could be the community or hospital pharmacy. The requirement is that the supervisor must be the tutor pharmacist,
Yeah, perfect.
but it couldn't be in the industry.
Yeah, perfect. So it says, got it. I thought the PSI chooses it for me. So I can't see the name here because he didn't allow StreamYard to see it. But uh, the person who asked about if you can choose the adaptation pharmacy, said he thought the PSI chooses it for him. Perfect, perfect. Okay, let's see now. I think I went through every one of the questions. Training, adaptation. So, like I said, regarding the adaptation period and the visa and all that, we will probably do this in a few weeks again. And um, perfect. Yeah, and we will detail on those as well. So what I want you guys to take away from this is we have just spent almost an hour providing a lot of value for you guys. If any of you in the WhatsApp groups, in the Facebook groups want to help the community in any way, like this wasn't my idea, this was Bilal's idea. So he said, "Sir, if I can help in any way, I will." So I was thinking, okay, maybe we can do a question and answer session, and he agreed straight away. If you guys like, I don't have all the answers, especially from non-European pharmacists. Like I have a lot of answers for European ones because I went through that process, so I can answer a lot of questions there. But I'm not going to go through the non-European the TCQR process. So you guys ask me a lot of questions and say, oh, Sorin must know that. Oh yeah, right. I don't. Sorry, I don't. But I'm trying to gather a lot of information from you guys. So if any of you is even further along in the process than this, so if any of you actually started the job and you want to, answer some questions for people that are in the process, or any way that you see that you could help the community, get in touch with me and we can organize something that would benefit everyone. So that's when a community grows and everyone in the community benefits. When everyone stands up and say, I can contribute in this way, I can contribute in that way, I can help people in this way. So if you're eager to help, if you want to help, definitely make a step forward and you know let me know, and we can arrange something that will benefit everybody. Okay, Bilal,
Okay.
thank you. You have been most helpful. You have answered, we initially said we would answer 4 or 5 questions since it's the first session, but I appreciate that you have actually answered in detail every single question, and I appreciate your willingness to come forward and help the community. So thank you very
That's
much.
all due to you. You inspired me, and I am always available to help others.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So we will
Thank you
most
so
likely
much.
do this. We will most likely do this in a few weeks again.
Okay.
Hopefully, I will have a pharmacy for Bilal by next week. And then, as he goes through the visa and he starts working in the new pharmacy and doing his adaptation period, I will surely ask him to come back and do another session of question and answers. And I'm sure you guys will have loads and loads of questions for him. So, okay, with that all being said, we're gonna interrupt the live session here, And if you guys have any questions, write them in the comments of this video or in the Facebook group, and I will gather them all up as I see them. And in the next session that I will be doing with Bilal, or maybe another one of you guys that is further along in the process, I will definitely address those questions. Okay, thank you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.